Dear Apple, give me another alternative that I can use to sync my iOS device, my iPhone, my iPod Touch, without having to use iTunes. So iTunes is a music software made by Apple where you can purchase music, purchase movies, as well as watch podcasts and TV shows, and you can even rent and stuff from there as well. And that's great and all when you guys want to listen to your music or just entertain yourself in a way. Now, if you try to get iTunes to work with your mobile device, the iOS device is made by Apple, then that's an even better benefit because now whatever you are watching, you can just take it on the go. However, if you have a Windows PC, not sure if this is an issue for Mac users who uses iTunes to sync their iOS device with, you could possibly get a message called iTunes error or whatever they call it, but I'm gonna call it iTunes error. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's officially named. What happened recently was I went on my computer one day to update iTunes to the latest software, and then for some strange reason it was saying that it couldn't update it, like there was an issue or something. And the next day I tried opening iTunes just so that way they can give me a little pop-up message and then I can hit OK to update it instead of going through Apple's mobile support or whatever they call it. I think it's like Apple software updates. And next thing you know, it said that iTunes was like installed incorrectly or like it wasn't installed correctly on my computer. And you know what? This is iTunes error, Windows error 193. That's the error I got on iTunes. And because of that, I can't open up iTunes. And in order to open up iTunes, I have no idea what else to do. It's either I have to delete a bunch of stuff that I have on my computer, or I have to like uninstall it and then reinstall it again. And I don't know what other solutions to do without having to uninstall it off of my computer and then reinstall it. In fact, I've actually read on some websites where some people actually try to do that and it didn't even work at all. So let me explain to you guys what I've done in order to try to solve this issue. First, I went into my computer into the app data folder. It's like one of those hidden folders that you can't see unless if you have checked off show hidden files or file extensions. I have that option checked off so I can take a look at any hidden files that weren't there on the first day I got my computer, and so that way I can change the file type whenever I needed to. So if I have ringtones, I can change from .m4a to .m4r. And so that's how I have that option open. I went into my app data file folder, whatever you guys want to call it, and I scroll down all the way till it says temp, T-E-M-P, temp. And then one of the solutions I found was just delete that whole folder. Here's the problem with that. There are some files that are contained in this folder that you cannot delete. And then no matter how many times I keep clicking, try again, try again, try again, try again, it won't delete. You know why? Because there's a program that is using those files. Now, how do I know what programs are using these files? I got no clue. If I had a clue, I would shut those programs off temporarily. If I feel like their requirement to have open, then I'll just shut those down temporarily so I can delete the files and then go on with my business in trying to fix iTunes. I also tried using command prompt. It's where you have to type in this code or something, and then it scans your computer for any corrupt files, and then if it has or seen any corrupt files, it'll automatically fix it for me. For some strange reason, command prompt was saying that I don't have any corrupt files, and therefore it's 100% clean. Now that is not true, because first of all, I'm trying to fix my iTunes here. So there is something definitely going wrong with iTunes right there. Whether it's iTunes or the Apple software update program that I have on my computer right here. And this just became frustrating. Only reason why I'm trying to open up iTunes so I can just back up my device again. I do this occasionally. In fact, I hardly open iTunes until maybe every 2 or 3 weeks. You know why? Because once I sync my stuff, I don't have to look back at it again. If for some reason I go on iTunes most of the time and I don't need to sync my device, it's because I downloaded an app on here and then for some reason I don't like it, and then each time I download an app, it'll automatically download into iTunes. So I always open up iTunes and then delete the app that I didn't like and that I deleted off of my device. That way, when I plug it up to my computer, it doesn't automatically sync those new apps onto my device again. Even though I have the option checked off to not do that, I just don't want to take up space on my computer. So I try to delete the whole app. And now I can't do that because there are a few new apps that I downloaded recently that I didn't want anymore on my device, so I deleted it. And next thing you know, iTunes just decided to corrupt itself. And unfortunately, command prompt didn't work. I tried deleting the temp folder. I can only delete some of the files. Some of the files I cannot delete at all. I have no idea what else to do. So I searched iTunes error, Windows error 193 on Bing, Google, whatever you guys want to use, your favorite search engine, whatever you want to use. And some people were telling me to do this, that, there, and blah. And unfortunately, most of these solutions did not work. And there was this one website that I read where they were saying, unfortunately, there is no official way to correct this problem. So therefore, you would have to uninstall the whole Apple software support, like the whole Apple update software. And when you uninstall that, it'll delete all the Apple products that you have on your computer, such as iTunes, QuickTime Player, and iCloud. And in my case, I have Safari on my computer. I cannot uninstall Safari. You know why? Because I can't afford to lose all my bookmarks that I have right there. You know, I need those bookmarks there. If there was a file that I have to save before they even try to delete it, I'll just take that, put it on my USB flash drive, and then there we go. I could save my iTunes library, but I'm afraid to lose my iTunes library at the same time. Don't know why, even though I know how to save my library from getting deleted. I have no idea. And I'm searching online. If I uninstall iTunes and then reinstall it, will I lose my whole entire library? They say, nah, as long as you keep the files safe and you don't delete it. And if you want, you could make a backup of your library. All you have to do is go into iTunes and then hit export. Unfortunately, I can't do that because iTunes is broken on my computer. So, what's the point of this video I'm trying to make? While it's great to have software to control the devices, that way it's nice and simplistic for you, and that way it organizes everything for you. Apple, thanks for that, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. But at the same time, iTunes has some perks that needs to be solved, and in this case for Windows, I don't know about Macs. I wouldn't expect this issue to happen on Macs, since you know Macs is made by Apple, and Apple can integrate their own software into the Mac operating system a lot better than they can with Windows, because Windows is made by Microsoft. You know, when I connect my device, whether it's a new device or an old device, iTunes always takes a few seconds to recognize the device and then connect it to iTunes. For me, the way it should work is once you connect your device, it's an automatically instant recognition from between your device and your computer. Same thing if you were to do like my Sony PSP, for example. I can take the memory card out of my PSP, pop it into my computer, and then just give it like 1 or 2 seconds, and then the computer recognizes it, and then it gives you options. What do you want to do with this card? Do you want to view the files, play the music that's on these files, do the slideshow with the pictures on this card? You know, and I'm pretty sure that's the same for Android devices as well, with options on whether you want to connect it to your media player or you want to connect it through mass storage or something like that. A reason why I'm mentioning those options is because I've connected a Samsung Mythic to my computer before, so I have seen the options on what you could do. So, what is my hope for Apple in the near future? My hope for Apple is like, make iTunes an option to transfer all your media or anything. And I know there's iCloud out there, but I believe that's only used for media that you buy on iTunes, unless you're doing media that's not bought from iTunes. I think you have to pay for like a subscription on the amount of storage you need for iCloud in order to save those libraries and then import it to all your devices. So that's why I just take the plug and then connect it to iTunes. And now if I were to try to connect my iPhone to my computer, it recognizes my iPhone, but it won't connect through iTunes. It'll just connect it as an external device, and then the only thing I can do is access my camera roll. the pictures I took on this thing, that's all I can access on my computer now that iTunes is broken. And I have no idea what else to do without having to uninstall it. Unfortunately, it looks like that's what I have to do, but I'm going to keep looking, and if for some reason I can't, I have to uninstall the whole Apple software application on my computer. Not just iTunes. I have to uninstall all my Apple products I have on my computer, which is going to suck. So if I do that, I better make sure I make a note of everything, take pictures of what my layout was, so that way I can go back and get those manually. Unless if there's some file that I can save, then hopefully I'll be able to find those and then just copy them and then save them somewhere. Save them where the uninstallation process will not touch these files. So what do you guys think about relying on iTunes to sync your devices? Do you guys agree with me that iTunes should be an option, and then you should have an option where you don't need iTunes to sync your stuff? Or do you think, nah, this is fine, you're a joke, Ben, Apple is doing the right thing by making iTunes a requirement to sync your device? And in my opinion, there's not much that Apple can do in their next iOS update, so they should consider this option, or this feature I should say, when they're developing iOS 8. Because we are in an iOS 7 right now, and iOS 7 is great. All it did was change the design a little bit, plus with some new minor features in there, but nothing drastically changed other than the design. And I'm hoping in iOS 8 they'll make this an option. I doubt it, but I hope one day, whatever operating system or iOS they develop, hopefully they will have this option there. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.